GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered.
And that's MVS and Justin Watson.
With some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues.
If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up.
Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow,
Comma, semicolon, period, next sentence.
to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
And Jay.
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? Let's get it, baby. GMGP. It is Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother, Jordan Richard. You can find him at your boy, JRich on X. And it's a big day. It's a very big day. You know why, JRich? You know why it's a big day? It's my niece's 6th birthday, baby. Shout out to my baby girl. Shout out to my niece, Noelle. Her 6th birthday.
Shout out Noelle.
My nephew's a little older, so he watches the show, so he'll probably hear the shout out for the sis. Shout out to her and shout out to all the good people in the chat. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, and every single Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8 a.m. Central Time. I'm in Central. I'm not Eastern, JRich. I'm thinking about the text that we had. The Paul Skeens to the Yankees. He wants to play for him. I'm thinking about East Coast stuff right now, but we got to talk football, and we've got a mega show for you later today. This is our first premium live stream event where myself, JRich, and the entire crew over at DDFFB are going to put on a monster mega show. We're taking trades. We're doing dynasty startups. We're going to have a rookie draft. We're going to talk all things dynasty fantasy football up through 10 weeks of the NFL season. Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Pull up. It's going down, baby. Mid-season mayhem, our main event. We're going to start doing these like 5-6 times a year. You know what I'm saying? So this is the first one. Pull up. We're going to have a great time chopping it up with y'all. So make sure you subscribe to the DD Fantasy Football YouTube channel, DDFFB on YouTube. We will be live over there and then streaming across the social media platforms, X and different accounts like that. But we're going to have a damn good show. We got a lot planned. JRich, we got a lot to do today. There's a lot of work to be done today before that stream. So let's make sure we get after it. And a little later today, Jay, prior to the stream, Trinity Report. Week 10 wide receivers, tight ends, usage. Scott Connor and I recorded the video for our members yesterday, so they've already gotten access to the show, us talking through some different situations, usage, trends, what we think might happen here in week 11 and beyond. So make sure you trust it. ddfantasyfootball.com, the best usage visualizer in the fantasy football space, bar none. And I'm going to just say this, JRich, because I got a couple of screenshots. It's getting upgraded. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
It's getting upgraded right now. There will probably be some league sync features to where you can start to we are full revamp. So I'm putting the pressure on the developer now because I got to put it out there. But some good stuff coming with the Trinity here in the next couple of months. And then JRich, I did post a video yesterday talking through the top two dogs in this 2026 quarterback class, Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza. Dane Brugler put out his top 50 big board yesterday. And do you know who QB1 was? QB1.
I would imagine it's probably Ty Simpson, but
he went with Ty Simpson at 1 and Fernando Mendoza 2. He still has Lenora Sellers inside the top 15. I'm just going to have to disagree with Dane Brugler when it comes to that. I don't know how Lenora Sellers is still there, but check out the show, the podcast that I put out. You can check it out on YouTube or on the DD Radio podcast feed. New York bound, Fernando Mendoza versus Ty Simpson, and a little Dante Moore talk sprinkled into that. But JRich, how are you this morning? You ready for the show tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Look at you are patrioted down now.
You know
Yesterday, on Monday, you got the Hendo jersey. Today, you got on the doggone Patriots, the coaching warm-up. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Ray, it's a good time. It's a great time to be a Patriots fan, right? And of course, we got the Jets coming into town Thursday Night Football. Maybe we'll touch on it. Maybe we won't. I'll be honest. I'm a little worried, Ray, because if there was a game that all of my Justin Fields slander came to fruition, it would be in Foxborough on Thursday Night Football in prime time. But I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I'm excited for the game. It should be a fun watch. I hope the Patriots beat them down, but we'll see. I am a little bit nervous. Aaron Glenn at the podium once again, making interesting comments.
Did you hear him? Ask Rich. Ask Rich
to see me.
There's nothing you despise more than head coach talk at the podium. I've never seen somebody dislike head coach talk more than you.
It's not that I dislike even Aaron Glenn. Just some of the things he does, man. It feels like he's taking steps
poking
backwards.
The bear intentionally.
Yeah, he is. He's trolling the media and stuff, and he's doing all these things. But you know what it reminds me of, Ray? He just talks like a person who has supreme job security. Like, there is no way Woody Johnson's ever going to fire him. Because I don't know if you've seen the reports. There's reports he's got like a 6-year contract, $13 million a year, locked in, like fully guaranteed. So, I mean, he'd have a huge buyout if that ever happened. But yeah, like I remember hearing some of the Jets media talk about it because that was the rumor. And so he may just be a guy who's got immense job security, going to be a part of this full rebuild. We'll see. But every time Aaron Glenn steps to the podium, it's always interesting to see what he's going to say. And it's half the time he's trolling, and sometimes he's just straight up pissed off. And that's always a good time, too.
Jets got 2 wins, baby. Jets got 2 wins, and they are trying to identify their next quarterback of the future, Jay. We got some stuff to talk to. A lot of news broke yesterday, but we do have a disgusting Monday Night Football game we got to talk about. So I almost forgot that this happened on Monday. So let's pull it up and let's talk about it, JRich. The Philadelphia Eagles 10, the Green Bay Packers 7. Philly improves to 7-2 on the season. Green Bay falls to 5-3-1. I don't know. I've got a clip. AJ Brown was on stream with Madden Streamer last night or yesterday. And A.J. Brown was not happy on that Madden stream. He said, we may pull the clip up in a little bit, but he was not happy. He said everything isn't good. It's a shit show. Just not good. Yeah, like it was just very, after his 2 for 13 performance on 3 targets, Devontae Smith had a great game. I won't say great. He had a good game for the Philadelphia Eagles. He scored the touchdown, 69 receiving yards. Dallas got it for 43. Saquon got all the work, but no production. 2.7 a rush attempt for Saquon Barkley. Eagles offensive linemen were getting pushed in the backfield all night. Lane Johnson had missed for an extended period of time. It was reported that I believe Landon Dickerson is out with an ACL tear. Jordan Mailata was on his ass a lot. But they got it done. Jalen Hurts, 15 for 26, 183 and a touchdown. Not much on the ground for Jalen Hurts. I mean, there were only 2 touchdowns scored in the entire game. Other side of the ball, Jordan Love, nothing. JRich, absolutely nothing from Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs, 21 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown. That was about it. Like, if you started Josh Jacobs out of this game, if you started Jacobs and Devontae Smith, you had a good fantasy night. Right. Other than that, Christian Watson, I don't know what he was doing down the field. I don't know what he was looking at. Slapping balls that are thrown to him.
He was playing defense, right?
Playing defense when the ball was thrown to him, and he should have caught it and played offense. Romeo Doubs got banged up in the game. There was no tight end of consequence without Tucker Kraft. We got some answers there, and they're throwing the ball to Bo Melton on 4th down. 4th down.
They moved him back to receiver.
Let's feed that receiver, turn cornerback, turn back receiver. It's 4th. We got to have it. 4th down. Let's throw the ball to number 16, Bo Melton. Made no sense. Now, there's rumor and speculation and reports that Matt LaFleur potentially could be coaching for his job in Green Bay. Talk about this team, this game, Green Bay. What's the big takeaway here, Jay?
The takeaway is that the Green Bay Packers are struggling a lot offensively, right? I think it was either last week or the week before I said to you, is there a world where this team really needs Jaden Reed back, right? And that was before Tucker Kraft ultimately got injured. But I think that the same issues we've always seen from the Packers are kind of rearing their ugly head once again. And I'll give you a parallel. It reminds me a lot, honestly, of what we see in Pittsburgh every week. Pittsburgh every single week. They have a decent running game, right? Josh Jacobs is better than the running backs they have there, but the parallels in the way that there really isn't a guy to get the ball to when they need a play. Sometimes it's Romeo Doubs, certain weeks. They've used Christian Watson in that role at times, but it's always just a by committee approach. There isn't a guy that you really trust to go and get after it. It's all just a bunch of players that are fine and can produce within an offense, but when Jordan Love isn't playing well, he doesn't have a guy that can kind of be a release valve for him, take some pressure off him, make a big play. They're all just guys that kind of work within the continuity of an offense. And I'm not saying Jaden Reed can be that guy, but there is a world where maybe that's just what Matt LaFleur needs. Maybe it's what Jordan Love needs, and he can be a difference maker amongst kind of all these players. Now, the idea that LaFleur is coaching for his job is kind of crazy because I think LaFleur is a phenomenal coach. I don't think Jordan Love is playing overly well. He is missing open receivers. There have been players who are open, he's missed them. There have been players who have not delivered on their end, dropping passes. But even with all of that, right, people point to this stat more than anything else. The Green Bay Packers are 1-3 when they've held teams to 16 points or less. That is a problem. I think the rest of the league is like 65-20 or something. And maybe be higher than that. So this team fundamentally is struggling offensively. Matthew Golden is a perfect example. Ball His Life brought up him in the chat. Where is Matthew Golden?
He was hurt.
Receiver.
He was hurt.
But it's not. But this game, it does not excuse the fact that where has he been the whole season, right? Where is Matthew Golden? Your first round receiver you haven't taken since what? I believe it was like 2002 was the last time they took a first round receiver. So it's like there's a lot of issues with this team. I think the go-to guy is a main issue. That's been the issue in Green Bay for a long time. That's why I brought up the Pittsburgh parallel, because they're all just a bunch of guys who can get the ball. But when the offense isn't playing well, there isn't a player that can kind of take the pressure off everybody. Jordan Love needs to play better, and the floor needs to do a better job coaching this team. But defensively, they are playing very well.
They do have a go-to guy, or they did have one. His name was Tucker Kraft.
They did have a go-to guy.
His name was Tucker Kraft. And now that Kraft is no longer in the picture, you're searching for complementary options to step up and be focal points, and that normally doesn't end well. Right now, when you look at the pass catchers of Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks, Luke Musgrave, even Romeo Doubs, Savion Williams, they're throwing the ball to Bo Melton, that just screams we don't have anybody, right? Like, that's what that is. You know who the guy is on the offense? It's Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs. If those two can't get it going, if Jordan Love can't put on his Superman cape and elevate the rest of these playmakers, then they're not going to have a chance offensively. If Josh Jacobs isn't running like a madman week in and week out, and he only had 3.5 an attempt. I mean, 21 carries, 74 yards. I think Philly did a damn good job of corralling him and not letting him get loose all night. There's really not a go-to option for Green Bay. So this is where your coaching staff, your offensive coordinator, your scheme, can you scheme up some dubs? And when they've gone three games with holding their opponents to 16 or fewer points and they've lost those, like, Green Bay's got to get it done. I mean, a nasty loss to the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, the nasty loss to the Carolina Panthers. You lose at home to Philadelphia in a game in which you only put up 7 damn points, and they didn't even get that touchdown until later in the game. You've got to start questioning, is this team? I'm just going to ask. That you see the chat right here. I'm just asking the question. This is a day for the people. Did the Cowboys really lose that trade?
I mean, the way it stands right now, not really. Right? Because
did they?
What the Cowboys did is they were able to replenish what they lost in Parsons, and their defensive front has been fine. The defense as a whole needs to be better, especially the linebacking core and on the back end. But this hasn't elevated Green Bay to any better than where they've been. This is a team that can win 65% of their games, which is basically what they're doing right now. But if they're not going to be, at the top of the NFC, of course the Cowboys won the trade. You make a move like this for Micah Parsons because you think you can contend for the number 1 seed in the NFC. You don't make that trade unless you can do anything but that. But now they're sitting at 3rd in their division. They're behind the Bears. They're behind the Lions. And they still have a tough schedule in front of them. And so it's not even as simple as, can this team compete for a top, 2-3 seed, get some home playoff games? It's like, well, where are they going to finish in the wild card? Because they have to play Detroit again this season. They have to play Denver. They have to play Chicago twice. They have to play Baltimore. They have to play Minnesota twice. Like, all those games are important. The only game that's decent is they play the Giants this weekend. But outside of that, Green Bay is going to be fighting for their playoff seeding every single week, and any loss they occur over the next couple of weeks is going to impact them mainly in the division because they still have 5 divisional games left, and most of them are against teams ahead of them in the division. So if they lose those games, that's a big swing in the division standings, and it could be a big problem for the Packers.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about the weapons in Green Bay and how those weapons compare to the New England Patriots with Drake May.
And everything you said is kind of like Buffalo, right? When Allen isn't the MVP and James Cook isn't rushing for 100 yards a game, they look terrible, right? And they don't score that many points. But Josh Allen is better than Jordan Love, and that's one of the main reasons why they continue to win games at times.
Yeah. Well, the Packers lost. The Eagles win. AJ Brown still is not happy though. I'm gonna roll this. AJ Brown was asked, "Is everything good?" on Janky Rondo's stream. So whoever the hell Janky Rondo is, but
Janky Rondo.
He's got a lot of followers, JRich. So he's got to be a top Madden streamer. No, where have you been? My family's good. Everything else, no. It's a shit show. Laugh. Struggling, brother. I'm struggling. That's what AJ Brown said. Matt Harmon seems to think that there's a shift in Philadelphia, that he's not.
Remember, I said
he's
this
not
to you
the
like a few
same
weeks
player
ago.
that he was. Like Devontae Smith should be the team. What are your thoughts
know that
there?
Smith is a great receiver.
I'm putting it out there. What are your thoughts there? There are more people now saying you need to prioritize the Slim Reaper. Like that's the best wide receiver on Philadelphia currently, and the offense should flow through Smitty. What are you? I'm gonna look while you answer. I'm gonna look up their stats and see where they both are this season.
So I think the thing here for me with this whole situation is if teams are going to continue to treat AJ Brown as the top wide receiver and he sees top coverage,
JRich.
Devontae Smith should be. What?
Jay, all right.
Okay.
I'm just looking it up. Right, Smitty. He's 12th in the NFL in receiving yards. 12th. 657 receiving yards for the Slim Reaper.
That's 12th?
AJ Brown, 50th, 408. They both have 3 touchdowns. AJ Brown has 31 receptions. Devontae Smith has 48 receptions on the season.
Well, think about even how much of those yards from both those guys came in the Minnesota game. Because Devontae Smith had nearly 200 yards in that game, and AJ, I think, still went over 100.
He went over 100?
So you're talking about like 25% to 30% of each of their receiving yards came in one game this season. Which is really
Smitty is the clear one right now in this offense, but do you think that I know it's been AJ Brown forever, right? But do you think there is a shift here in Philadelphia, and what does that mean for AJ Brown moving forward?
I think it just means more of the same for AJ Brown. Like, why are things going to change? You know, we talk about this every week. When teams are winning football games, they aren't going to change what they're doing. You know, Ike in the chat saying AJ Brown is checked out. I think there's some validity to that for sure. But this is just smart football in some respects at the end of the day. Like, I think that's where people forget. Devontae Smith is arguably just as good at times as AJ Brown. AJ Brown has a higher ceiling because of the way that he plays. He can be more physical. But if teams are going to double AJ Brown, they're going to shadow coverage his way. Like, you still have a player that can be a number one on the other side. And if he's going to be ISO'd, you might as well just get him the ball because he has just as good of a chance of making a big play as AJ Brown, and maybe even a better chance because of the coverage he's seeing. So, and honestly, when you talk about those two receivers, it's just smart football. It's just good game planning if that's the way they're playing him. And so it's not overly surprising. It's no different than the days that T. Higgins has a great game and Jamar Chase has a regular game or a below average game. Sometimes that's what the coverage dictates, and it seems like Kevin Patula has said that's what coverage has been dictating. That's what we want to do for the entire season, not just for a certain week against a certain team.
Hey, I'm not trying to be petty, but I don't mind the drama in Philadelphia. I quite like talking about the drama in Philadelphia, as the people in the chat are saying AJ Brown can kick rocks. He can go. If he thinks the grass is greener, AJ can go wherever he wants if he thinks the grass is greener. Philadelphia
He will though. He'll get traded.
You think he'll get moved?
Like
you think he's going to end up getting moved?
I think because he'll be going to, 30 years old probably?
Well, people keep talking about Smith like he's a wide receiver too. So if there's a way for you to kind of roll into a Smitty before the end of the season with the expectation and the conviction that that is Philadelphia's wide receiver one moving forward, maybe that's a move you try to make. I just, what would you even pay? What would you pay? Are you trading a random 26 first for A.J. Brown right now in Dynasty? First round pick for A.J. Brown?
Probably not.
There's no way I would. There's no way I would.
But if you have the conviction he's going to get moved, because here's the question I want to ask you.
They could move him to Alcatraz, man, and then you're stuck. He's on Denver.
The spot is New England, right? Like the easy spot is New England. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not predicting it. But I want to ask you this. If you had to pick a situation, A.J. Brown on a random team, but he is traded, or Devontae Smith as the number one wide receiver in Philly, which one would you choose? Like, who do you think could be the more productive player?
I would take Devontae Smith in Philadelphia.
Okay. Because I honestly think I may gamble on A.J. Brown if everything was equal. Because the part that you aren't bringing up is, yes, you are getting the wide receiver one for Philadelphia, but, like, that's also not a role that's been very fruitful over the past few years. So, like, what does Devontae Smith as the wide receiver one in Philadelphia look like? And how does he handle that top coverage if, you know, let's say it's only a wide receiver 3 caliber player who's replacing A.J. Brown, right? Because that's the other side of things is how does the coverage shift? How do they prioritize the weapons? Is Jalen Hurts really going to throw to him 10 times a game? Because he doesn't do that now anyways. So I'd be curious if A.J. Brown would actually be the better bet, because if a team's trading for A.J. Brown, paying him all this money, they'll probably utilize him much more than he was in Philly, because that's the whole reason why he's not happy and he's not doesn't want to play in Philly, it seems like right now, because he's not being utilized within the offense.
Yeah, just a lot of that's so far removed from reality right now that I wouldn't do it. I'm good. Like he's here. He's not going anywhere this year, so I'm not paying a first round for him. I'd rather him continue to be upset and disgruntled than not use, and then try to get him for cheaper. I would not trade a first round pick for him right now. No, wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Sean says every Devontae Smith manager has been holding on for when A.J. Brown steps aside. That doesn't mean anything. You can still trade for him. I mean, Jamar Chase is available all the damn time. You could go buy Brock Bowers a week and a half ago. So I don't think Devontae Smith is an immovable asset in fantasy football. You may have to pay a little bit more, but I'd rather pay for Smith opposed to pay for A.J. Brown. I'd rather pay for Devontae Smith opposed to pay for A.J. Brown. And what if A.J. Brown is right? What if A.J. Brown's right back in Philly next year?
Yeah. Then who do you want?
Devontae Smith. It's Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith. All right, Jay. We had some more news break. We get out of that disgusting game. Nothing else to take away from there. But man, oh man, JRich, bomb drops, baby. Brian Daboll out. Gone. Get him up out of here, man. Get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. They fired him, JRich. Gone. Fired Brian Daboll a couple of days ago. No longer the head coach of the New York Giants, and all the talk and conversation is, how does he go? But Joe Schoen gets to stay. There are reports and rumors that Joe Schoen will have no input on who the new head coach will be. It will be Tish, whatever that person is, and then Mara. That they will be the final decision makers for who the head coach will be. Rumors were rampant amongst Giants content creators. You know some of the names that were invoked for the new head coach for the New York Giants? Hey, Rich, you want me to give you a couple of these names?
I was just pulling up the list right now.
We got Brian Flores. We got Bill Belichick. We got Arthur Smith. Those were some of the early names tossed around as replacements to Brian Daboll in New York. So talk about the firing. Did you see it coming? Did he deserve it? Is this good? What does this mean for Jackson Dart? Who's the next head coach? Oh, yeah, one more. I saw this one out there. Deion Sanders, Prime in New York. Saw that one too, JRich. So we got Flores. We got Prime. We got Belichick. We got Arthur Smith. JRich. Pour one out for all day ball, man. The culture change. The culture changer. Pour one out for all days, man.
This sucks because you asked me, did I see it coming? I mean, yeah.
Look
you
at this.
blow that game.
JRich, old tweet from 23, went from 4-13 to 9-7-1 in the regular season, won their first playoff appearance in 2016, NFL Coach of the Year candidate, bright future ahead. Just a few 2 years ago, JRich, just a couple of years ago, this was the ESPN tweet. This was the excitement around Brian Daboll, and now 2 years later, look at how much he's aged. Happy and fat right here, lost weight and depressed and fired now.
Hey man, Slim Daboll is a good Daboll, man. Good for him losing some of that weight. But yeah, this sucks because I mean, both of us really like Brian Daboll. We love what he's done for offenses both in Buffalo and even for the Giants, right? Do you really think that Malik Neighbors is going to see 150 targets in 15 games again under a new head coach? We'll see, but I know that Brian Daboll had a large part in why he was so effective and was so heavily utilized within the offense. It's all going to come down to is what do they decide to do? Because the names on the list right now are not necessarily great, right? Mike McCarthy is the top coach at DraftKings. Clint Kubiak would be a decent fit. Ray, feel free to talk about your thoughts of Dart running a Shanahan-McVay style system. I don't know how well he would do running that system. I don't think it'd be great. Steve Spagnuolo, no thank you. Lou Anarumo, no thank you.
No, thank God, no. No thank you, Lou Anarumo. What?
I think Cliff Kingsbury is potentially interesting again. More of a college-style offense.
No thank you.
We'll see.
No thank you.
I think the parallels and how we could fit, and it makes a bit more sense than going after Kubiak.
No.
And then it's Kafka, Jesse Minter, all these guys. But like the thing for me is then what happens with Brian Daboll now?
Oh, he's he goes back. He's a QB coach. QB
coach, OC.
QB coach.
People are saying Lane Kiffin could be an option.
No.
I mean, we'll see. I think he'd be better fit for the Florida job than the Giants job. But obviously the familiarity with Dart, that's where you're going to get the links there. But I don't think you should have him as the head coach of the Giants.
Let me tell you why it's not going to be Brian Flores. I can assure you it is
he's
not.
Still suing the NFL.
It wasn't it the Giants who started that stuff because he texted the wrong person?
Yep.
He had texted Flores, but he thought he was texting Bill Belichick, right? And then Flores was like, wait a minute. He texted Bill Belichick about Brian Daboll, and it went to Brian Flores. So yeah, it ain't gonna be Flores. It will not be Brian Flores. No.
And it's just like the thing for me now is, for us and the way that we approach fantasy, we want it to be an offensive guy, but it seems like it's trending the other direction. Like it just does. It seems like it's trending towards a defensive guy, a culture guy, like no one that we care about because it's not going to help Jackson Dart. Maybe maybe Mike Kafka can retain his position as OC. Maybe he can become the head coach. We'll find out. But the Giants do have a lot of work to do here, and clearly their team is not ready to be a contender even in the NFC East. But I don't think they're as far off as maybe it seems. It's just going to take the right guy, and I think Daboll could have got them there. But defensively, they're a mess. But offensively, they've been phenomenal. And it's why I always talk about, some of the coaches that are on the hot seat, like the Jonathan Gannons. I use Gannon more specifically because he's a defensive guy and the defense is playing well. Raheem Morris, defensive guy, defense is playing pretty well, but they can't win football games because offensively they're not doing their part. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to manage that. But with how bad the defense is, I think they're going to bring in a defensive guy, and that's probably not going to be good news ultimately for Jackson Dart.
Yeah, there are a couple of things in regards to that. I know that on Get Up on ESPN, and I gotta show this quick so we don't get kicked off of YouTube. But they were talking about another example of an organizational failure. You can have a lamed up coach with a rookie quarterback. And then you see this tweet right here, Jay, where you've got Jackson Dart, first round quarterback, head coach fired. Cam Ward, first round quarterback, head coach fired. Caleb, fired. May, fired. Young, fired. Trevor Lawrence, first year head coach, fired. And then the tweet says the NFL has a QB development problem. But then there was a quote tweet around this that basically said, what's happening is you're getting these lame duck head coaches, and then you're allowing them to pick quarterbacks in the NFL draft, knowing good and damn well you're probably not going to be there. And what that does is that sticks the incoming coach. Like you're locked into Trevor Lawrence, you're locked into Bryce Young, you're locked into Cam Ward, And to be honest, I think this New York job is quite attractive. You've got what looks like a franchise quarterback. You have what looks like a franchise wide receiver. The defense, you've got edge rushers, right? One of the most difficult positions to find. You've got Brian Burns and Abdul Carter with Dexter Lawrence in the middle. We'll see if he sticks. They found something with Flott on the outside at cornerback. Like, there's still some pieces here to work with, and they're currently projected to have a top 5 pick in 2026. They've got their draft capital. So this absolutely, I think this will be one of the this should be the most attractive job, right? I don't know how the ownership group lets their coaches do their thing, but this should be an attractive job given the fact that you've got Jackson Dart in place. But I absolutely think you need to find the type of coach or coordinator that's going to work and deal with his skill set, which is not traditional, just drop back and throw the ball. There is some gunslinger. There is some mobility stuff that he brings to the table. The legs are an asset. Now, maybe you don't want to run him 8 times a game plus the scrambles that he's going to get, but he's got a unique, different type of skill set and has already shown to be a successful quarterback in the NFL with limited options. I think this is a really good spot. Some of the names and the coaching candidates that are tossed around, though, like in what world do you want to see Bill Belichick coach his team? No.
Never.
Thank you. No, thank you. Of all the names that got tossed around, I would take Arthur Smith before I would want Bill Belichick to coach his team. I would 100%. Want no part of the disaster that Bill Belichick has been, not just at North Carolina, which he robbed them blind, but he's actually been pretty damn stank since Tom Brady's moved on. He's been pretty.
He's been bad.
And Tom Brady and them kind of said, hey, man, we're the ones that were out there getting down. We were the ones out there making it happen. So I don't want to see no damn Bill Belichick in New York, man.
Yeah, it's just who is the perfect fit, you know? People are throwing all kinds of names in the chat, like McDaniels was thrown around, Mike LaFleur, Matt's brother, who's the OC of the Rams. I've seen Wes Phillips, who I believe is the OC in Minnesota right now, as another guy who could potentially be looking for a head coaching gig. It just depends on which way they want to go. It seems like they're more worried about the culture, at least based off the names we've seen thrown around there. Clint Kubiak's really the only guy that is more known for what he's done offensively than the way that he, I guess, leads a team and like organizes the culture. Like, he's not, maybe he is that guy and I just don't know that yet. But when Mike McCarthy is your top candidate, it's like, well, we kind of see the direction you're going.
I wouldn't mind McCarthy in New York.
He's a stabilizer, right? Is kind of what he is. Maybe he can be a great head coach once again in the NFL and lead a team. He's fine, right? He'll stabilize the Giants. He won't do anything too stupid. And he'll probably have the team be competitive. And I think defensively he can get this team on track. But Ray, it's funny, as you were talking through their draft pick, right? I'm like, man, if this team just gets the right head coach and weasels their way into Caleb Downs, think about how good the Giants could be in like 2 years.
If who?
Like, that's like I'm saying, if they were to draft Caleb Downs, if they were able to somehow get him in the draft and to stabilize the back end as the main communicator for the whole defense, and then you also bring in like the right offensive-minded head coach, you bring in a new DC, like that's where I think the Giants are cooking with something here. They got some work to do, but the foundation is decent.
I hear you. I hear you. I don't think you could take Caleb Downs that high. Like, I'm not taking a safety that high. I couldn't do it.
Most people don't.
Yeah, let's go to break. We go to break, and then we got some more news to talk to. Run it up, hit the thumbs up button, like the stream, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show. Appreciate each and every eye, each and every ear that's in the building. Thank you for engaging with us in the chat. If you're new here to the channel, we have a good time every time we ask you to do a couple of things. Engage with the good people in the chat. Hit the thumbs up button, like the stream, and subscribe to the channel. Check out all the content that we have here on this channel. Later today, we got a big show. Our first premium live stream event, 3 hours. Me, JRich, Scott, Shane, Ty, Brandon, talking all things fantasy football. Midseason mayhem tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on DDFFB. Not this channel, DDFFB. Go subscribe to that so you can pull up. We're doing giveaways. We got a Heisman membership that we've got to give away. One of our good friends, Lee Savage, and his Savage Fantasy Football website. We're going to give away three full years of full access to his website on the show. We got some, dude, Jay, no BS, man. JRich, let me get you on the screen. JRich, probably I'm going to get my shipping machine out for the show. Okay. So when we do the stream tonight, I'm going to have the legit shipping station live. And I'm going to print out addresses on the show. I'm not going to show the addresses, but I'm going to print them out on the show. I still have from a draft stream 2 years ago. Nobody claimed it. Nobody wanted. I still got the Puka Nakua.
You still got the Puka jersey.
The Puka throwback, the 17 Puka throwback. So
we may need to charge some money for that one. Because
I may want to keep that joint, man. But we got some stuff that we got to give away, no doubt. So pull up tonight. We're gonna have a good time. Also, if you missed it, Trinity will be out a little later today. Trust it. Scott Connor and I talking through usage. I saw somebody in the chat saying thank you. The tool is awesome. Alec Pierce, you guys were dead on with that one. Continue to ride that Pierce, JRich. Some people think it's maybe wide receiver 1 in Indianapolis. I don't know if I'd go that far. I would go that far with old Antoine.
Wide receiver 1, maybe?
We like Antoine. And then, some college football talk, some NFL talk. New York bound. Fernando Mendoza versus Ty Simpson. I saw at the end of the show on Monday, our girl Jo, one of the veterans here on the Wake Up Chat, I saw as we were leaving the show, she was like, why aren't there any superstar quarterbacks in 2026? Jo seemed a little depressed. Jo said, why aren't there any superstars in the 2026 NFL class at the quarterback position, Jo? Wait for 27. I just want to ask this question real quick. Jason, I know you're in the chat. I know you watch a lot of college ball. CJ Carr, real deal? JRich, I don't know if you watched a lot of CJ Carr, but looking at 27, Arch is going to be back. So we got to do the Arch Manning thing again. We got Arch in the class. Julian Sand looks great. He looks great right now. CJ Carr out of Notre Dame. I'm going to just say it, man. He looks good. And then when Sellers comes back, because there's no freaking way he's declaring, I think CJ Carr is going to be right there as one of the top core. Maybe even QB1 projected. He's that good out of Notre Dame. He's the real deal, JRich. But neither here nor there. We're going to talk about a player who was damn near 101 in the NFL draft last year, and we got to pour one out. For old Trav. Travis Hunter, JRich. Season over.
Remember when you weren't concerned about that midweek practice injury?
Oh yeah. Go ahead and hit me with one. Ray, I'm not concerned.
It sucks for Trav, man. It does. It sucks. He's probably the most intriguing player we wanted to watch, at least from the rookie class this season. How is it going to work? How's he going to fit? 100-yard game across the pond, right? And what happens? He gets injured in practice, and we never see him again for the rest of the season. No. LCL injury, got surgery, should be good to go, I believe, in 6 months was the timeline for him. So, again, he'll be back for the start of the season. But the question now is going to be asked, Ray. Should he be playing both sides of the football in the NFL? He played, 7 or 8 games this season? And he's out. LCL, freak injury, in practice. Should he be doing it both ways in the NFL? Pause.
Travis Hunter played, this is a tweet here. Travis Hunter played the most snaps of any other skill position player in the NFL with an average of 68.7 snaps per game. Most by any, and it did happen in a game. It did not happen in a game, and it could have happened at any point in time, right? Sure. And we still don't know. The reports and the rumors are it happened when he was playing defense in practice. That's the speculation. Nothing confirmed, JRich. It happened when he was playing on the defensive side of the ball in practice. This is tough because this was a player who was not a refined receiver yet. Like when Neighbors gets back, when Neighbors is healthy and he's full speed, because he'll get back, right? Whether that's week 1 or week 8 of next year, Neighbors will eventually will round back into wide receiver form. And you know what? He won't have to relearn. You know what Neighbors is going to have to go through and learn how to run like a hitch route. Learn how to run a deep 20-yard out. Know how to manipulate zone coverages on dig routes and crossers. Like he knows that because Malik Neighbors is a what? A professional wide receiver.
Damn right
We've got a player who from the time he was in high school all the way through college at Jackson State, 2 years at Colorado, he did not focus on one side of the ball. He played both ways. He gets drafted number 2 overall, which we can have a conversation about that. How does that trade look now for old Gladstone? People were loving that 32-year-old GM till you start effing around and playing with real NFL capital like it's Madden or fantasy football, right? Now you've lost the number 2 overall pick. He didn't do a damn thing on offense this year, and he didn't do shit on defense. Nada. I think he had like 15 tackles, JRich, and 1 pass defense. No interceptions, 1 touchdown on offense, 28 receptions for Travis Hunter. Fully expected to return and recover within 6, could potentially be ready for OTAs. What do you do? How do you feel? I asked Matt Harmon yesterday, I said, I don't want to say it, and he didn't even want to use the B word, but is this season a bust? Was Travis Hunter a bust in year 1?
Kind of. Right? I mean, you look across the board to Tedero McMillan, we know that his situation sucks, but he's the guy on the team. He gets all the work. He sees all the volume. You look to Matthew Golden, you say, who's bigger bust, Matthew Golden or Travis Hunter? I think the answer is probably Travis Hunter. Because of expectations, because of draft capital, because of what people thought he could be. It's hard to find a bigger bust than Travis Hunter. And it sucks because there was potential there. And we saw a potential changing of the guards. And
we did.
A second half that could be phenomenal for him. You know, Trayvon Henderson just had his first good game in week 10. Right? We could have seen Travis Hunter's first good game in week 10. Or second good game because of the Rams game. Right? And at that point, we start to feel better about where you're at. You know, maybe a second half surge. You know, a late season that leads into the following season saying, okay, he's going to be the one. We're excited to see him. Let's see what he can do for an entire season. Took him a while to get going, but he's learning a new position. He's playing 2 positions. This should take time. We need to be patient. But now he's hurt. He's out. You're never seeing him again, at least for this season. So going into next year will be, well, how sustainable is this? Where do you draft him? Is he really the one? And I think there's just a lot more questions now than there was even probably going into the season this year as to how effective he can ultimately be.
So here's Dr. Morris, right? He says Travis Hunter suffered the same injury as Rashee Rice, an isolated LCL tear. What is strange is that Hunter suffered this while in coverage at practice, reportedly non-contact. Super rare. He will be 100% by week 1 of 2026 and could even participate in OTAs. Schefter also reported, per the Jags, Hunter underwent surgery today to repair that, sideline him for the season, no additional damage, okay? So we've got no additional damage, multiple doctors saying 100% by week 1. What is the outlook for him next year, Jay? We already have a very
clouded situation
in Jacksonville. And I not? You're right. When we were talking like 2 weeks ago, when you're like, oh, injury in practice, I like, oh, no big deal. Things pop up here and there. But then after they traded for Jakobi Meyers, I came on here and I did the Brian Windhorse, and I was like, this isn't good. Like that, because the initial reports were, oh, it's not that serious.
And it was reported he's not likely to need surgery.
Not going to need surgery. They don't think that. Then he goes on IR. Then they trade a 4th and a 6th for Jakobi Meyers, and I was like, this is bad. This is bad. Yeah. You don't go out and do that with Brian Thomas, with Parker Washington, unless you've got some long-term concerns about Travis Hunter. We'll see what the Jags do. In my opinion, we've said it the entire time. It would be cool to see. They're absolutely going to let him try it. I think he just needs to pick a side. Just pick a side, and then at least you can learn and grow into that, because his rookie season has pretty much been a wash. Like, it's been a wash. I don't want to call him. His rookie season has been disappointing for sure. It was not what we expected at all. When people thought, there were people who said this was going to be the wide receiver one in Jacksonville. He's going to be the Chris Godwin role in Liam Cohen's offense. My real question to you is, how big of an opportunity does a player like Parker Washington have in this offense now? And then let's also preface and set the table with this, Jay. And I had to elaborate on this on Yahoo yesterday. This ain't Tampa Bay, right? So, you know how, because we keep talking about the offense, like, oh, this is that role, this is that. This is an offense led by Trevor Lawrence. So first and foremost,
offense,
it's not that good anyway. So that role is not the same as it was in Tampa Bay. It's kind of like, does it even matter? Like, does it even matter, Jay?
Yeah. Well, that's my question to you. It was, who's the wide receiver one? Is it Hunter or is it Brian Thomas Jr.? And the answer was neither of them. They were both terrible. The offense stinks. So even going into next season, one, who's on this team? Is Brian Thomas Jr. still on the team, or do they trade him? We know Travis Hunter's going to be there. He'll be healthy. We'll see what his role is in the offense. Do they re-sign Jacoby Myers? Parker Washington, I think he's under contract, probably still going to be there. And how does this pecking order ultimately kind of work its way out? Because we do have a great wide receiver class as well. What's stopping Gladstone and Cohen from saying, you know what? Let me go get a receiver in the 26th class. Trade Brian Thomas for a second, add another second that you already have, go up, get a first in like the 20s, 25 range. There's plenty of good receivers that are capable of coming into this offense and being the guy. If they don't think Brian Thomas is the guy, if they're concerned about whether or not Travis Hunter can be the guy, they will go out and get a guy. Like, they're going to do that. And there's also the free agency side of it as well. Do they bring in a free agent? I don't know how many good free agents are out there or available, but there is definitely a world where they make bolder moves than simply just sitting on what they have and re-signing Jacoby Myers. But as you can see here by this
look at where T-Law's at.
You brought up on Monday. He's as bad as it gets.
The only quarterbacks from an efficiency standpoint worse are Dylan Gabriel and Cam effing Ward.
He's playing like a rookie quarterback, and it's his 5th season.
Joe asked in the chat, when can they get out? Never.
Of Lawrence?
Of Lawrence. Never, Joe.
It's like 2 years down the line at a decent figure.
Never.
It's not really ever. Unless someone wants to trade for him and take on his contract, it's not good.
I mean, he just signed, last year? A $275 million deal? He got that last offseason. Prior to Cohen.
He's on his 5th year.
They're not
two seasons and he's gone. He has a $133 million dead cap coming into this season.
133.
But it's 116 next year, but it's 65 after that. Once it hits 65 million, I think he's gone.
That's cheaper than Miami's dead cap on Tua. That's cheaper than Miami's dead cap on Tua.
Probably have him next year, but I would imagine he's gone after that.
Man, okay.
But maybe not. Maybe he stays one more year.
And that's the thing. I think Parker Washington has a golden opportunity. I do think Jacoby Myers will factor into the offense more. And I don't know what the injury status is on Brian Thomas Jr., but I'm sure he'll be out there as well. And then when they get Brenton Strange back, I'm gonna make an excuse for Lawrence and tell me if this is sound. He gets back Brenton Strange, which I think there is a problem not having a tight end there. I really do. I think that's a problem.
He was very good.
He was very good. He was good for Trevor Lawrence. You get Strange back. You get Thomas out there. We don't know what version you're going to get, but he's out there with Myers, with Parker Washington. Does that make Trevor Lawrence better? I'm trying to be fair to him right now. You get him his allotment of weapons back, and he's not throwing to Tom Jones. And you know what I'm saying? Gabe Davis, whoever the hell else they had out there. Quintez Cephas, who else do they have out there? Adam Humphries, Xavier Restrepo, when he's got some actual receivers out there, will it be better?
I don't know if it's going to be better, but I do think adding Strange does give Lawrence something he doesn't have, right? A big bodied pass catcher that can kind of bail him out when everything's falling around behind him, right? And I think that's what he needs. He just needs a player that can make a play for him. And when you look to the receivers now, they're all like small, little guys, separation type specialists. That's great if you're an accurate quarterback, but Trevor Lawrence isn't the most accurate quarterback. He needs a player that he can just get the ball to, put it in his vicinity somewhere, and he'll go out and make a play for you. I think Brenton Strange can kind of be that player for him. So it's just, we'll see how it ultimately helps Trevor Lawrence, but hopefully it just makes them a little bit more efficient, move the chains a little bit more frequently, push the ball down the field a little bit more, and maybe even open some things up on the outside as well, having Strange, who's a bit more of a weapon in the middle of the field.
They said they need that Tavon Austin, Percy Harvin.
If they got Percy Harvin, they would go to the Super Bowl.
They'd go to the Super Bowl. Percy
even at his age, man.
Percy's one of my favorite players, man. Percy's a good player.
Disgusting.
What are you on the side of buying Travis Hunter now at a reduced cost, or are you just out? Or are you selling, and then once he becomes whatever it is he's going to become, you'll just draft him at whatever that cost is at that point in time? Or do you want to go trade for him now? I traded him. When he first got hurt, I moved him. I traded him immediately in probably like my highest priority dynasty league. I moved him immediately when he got hurt.
And so what did you move him for?
I honestly can't remember. I'll go back and look it up. And
for me, I would be buying. I do think there's some stink around Travis Hunter right now. Now, again, the issue is that it's not like you're buying a player who was a back end first. So people were like, maybe he'll be good, maybe he won't. So you do have to manage that. A lot of managers probably paid a hefty price to go and get that Travis Hunter. So are they willing to move off of him, and kind of what does that cost look like? Because I do think, to your point, Ray, they want to at least see what Travis Hunter could be as the guy in the offense. They've talked about it. They've mentioned it. They've also done it at times. It was a very limited spurt. And I think it's worth the risk to at least go out and see, like, what could that cost be? I think it's going to be expensive. It may be more expensive than I'm looking for. But, like, if you could trade a back-end 26 first for Travis Hunter, would you do it? Knowing that there are some pretty talented receivers in this class, because as talented as they may be, Travis Hunter still could be the better option even going into next season. But that is a risky bet because, as I mentioned, it's not just how does he fit within the offense, it's also what the hell is Gladstone going to do? Because I think we've already seen so far he's a bit of a wild card. He may bring in 1-2 receivers in the draft and sign a free agent as well. And at that point, the situation becomes much more difficult to read as to how they want to use all of these pass catchers going forward.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up right now. You know that MFL is like Windows 95, man. It's rough, so it's hard to filter this thing. But I know I traded him not long ago when it happened. That's Garrett Wilson. I moved trying to find it real quick to see what you think about it, Jay. But let's get into the last piece of news before we get out of here, Jay. We've got some more injury news. Talk about Joe Burrow. JRich, isn't Burrow back? Where's it at? Joe Burrow, back at practice.
Yeah. So Joe Burrow's window to return has been opened, his 21-day window to return to the Cincinnati Bengals. He went to the podium, he spoke to the media, and he is projecting to try and be back for, I think it's at a Thanksgiving game, but it's week 13 versus the Baltimore Ravens, right? So it's obviously a big game between the Bengals and the Ravens. Now, the question for me, and I think for a lot of people, is he being rushed back a little bit, right? The early indication was mid-December, I believe, for his timeline to return would have been his 3 months to ultimately heal up and be back. Now he's planning on being back, it looks like, for the end of November. Look, I want to see Burrow on the field, but if he's not 100%, he should not be out there. We've seen Burrow be in and out, be banged up, deal with multiple injuries. The season for the Bengals, even right now, doesn't seem to be too much to where they're competitive, but this division is very winnable. The Ravens are in the driver's seat to win the division. The Bengals could get there if they win some football games, but how do you feel about Joe Burrow coming back, knowing that he may not be 100%. And if he's not 100%, what does that mean for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
I get he wants to be out there playing ball. I can only imagine. Like, I wouldn't want to be on the sidelines either, but I want Joe to be healthy. And we'll see. It says it's also noted that the team's playoff chances could impact whether he returns. Let's just see.
For sure.
If Flacco keeps him afloat, then he's going to come back if he can. If Flacco keeps him afloat and in it, because the AFC North right now, Pittsburgh looks fraudulent. We know Cleveland ain't winning shit. The Ravens are probably at 4-5 going to win the division, most likely. Did you see that Lamar Jackson has now become, I think in his first 100 starts, he's like the NFL leader with the fewest. He set some records. He's got lower interception.
Well, he has the passer rating record, doesn't he?
Yeah, passer rating record. I mean, it's in this season he got like 15 touchdowns and 1 pick. So
yeah,
I think it's gonna be Baltimore that wins this division. We'll see. We'll see.
The hard part for the Bengals, right? Pittsburgh this week, then they play New England, then they play Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore. So that's the stretch they're trying to get Burrow back for those 2 Baltimore games. I don't know, man. That's tough. Like, if you lose that New England game, especially if you lose in Pittsburgh, and I don't know if the Bengals are going to be able to beat Pittsburgh this weekend. Like, Pittsburgh's a bad team, but it ain't like the Bengals are good either. And if they lose that game, they lose to New England, they're basically out of the division at that point. So why even have Burrow back?
Yeah, then he probably won't. Then it'll just be Flacco. Here's a question that nobody has brought up. We just keep talking about Hunter on offense, and we'll end with this because we got a big show tonight. What if he goes full defense?
That's another risk. That should always be factored into what you're planning on doing with Hunter, trading for Hunter, assessing his value. That is always a risk. Because as much as you like Travis Hunter as a wide receiver more than a cornerback, he is a trained cornerback. From the moment he played, college football, he was a trained quarterback who wanted to play wide receiver, wanted to play both ways, and Deion Sanders gave him that wish and turned him into a pretty damn good receiver that performed well at the college level, but he is a trained corner. And I think a lot of people, even though he is a little bit on the smaller side, believe that in a couple of years, he could develop into a great corner for this team. And this team could desperately use a great corner. I think they can find receivers, but a great corner is hard to find. And if Travis Hunter could be that, they should definitely explore potentially using him as a corner.
So Ricky tried to be slick here. So let's give him a little insight into these DD leagues. He said if it's your main dynasty league, you would know the deal. No, we wouldn't. Do you know how many effing trades go down day in and day out in these leagues? You are sadly mistaken if you think everybody remembers the type of deals that we've made in these leagues. And it's MFL, and I play in quite a few leagues. So, but I got the deal. So after he got hurt on Halloween, JRich, and this is our big money league, 36 team, triple copy, best ball, start 13. Super flex 2.0 tight end premium. So wild scoring. You only got to start 3 receivers. I'm trying to load up. You want to load up on tight ends. I moved Bo Nix and Travis Hunter and got back Daniel Jones, Rico Dowdle, Kamani Vidal, and Christian Watson.
Okay, so it's just a move for this season.
Just for all I give a shit. I won the league last year. I'm in first place now. I want to win it again. I could. And the cool thing about this league is you only get 1 year's allotment of draft picks, so you really can't screw your team up too big. And of course, I've got
obviously use that capital to buy.
Yeah, I've got no picks in 2026, but I get a full allotment back in 2027. So yeah, 36 teams, start 13, best ball. Moved off of Bo and Hunter.
Buy is savvy.
Moved off of Bo and Hunter and got Jones, Vidal, Rico Dowdle, and Christian Watson. And I'll take a 2 for 4 in best ball. I don't give a shit about 2028. No, that's not too bad, right?
And if you believe Jones can be the starter going forward, he's been better than Bo Nix for the majority of the season anyways, right? Like, we'll see what Bo Nix is, but moving off him for a Daniel Jones it's both risky and could be rewarding this season and beyond. So I don't hate that at all. Definitely a reasonable trade. I'm curious how Vidal can be useful beyond
we'll see.
The next couple of weeks. We don't know when Hampton's coming back.
Yeah, we'll see.
One quick question, though, right before we head out of here, because Adam was asking your thoughts on RJ Harvey, knowing that J.K. Dobbins may be headed for IR after the hip drop tackle he suffered on
I actually wrote about him, the article that I'll be dropping today on Yahoo. He's my first blurb. I'll just say this. Do I think he's about to get all the work? No. But when we talk about drafting rookies for end of season upside, like this is what you draft them for.
Yeah.
If now this matchup versus Kansas City is not going to be easy. I don't think that's a tough, an easy matchup for Harvey, but this is why you draft rookies for situations like this down the stretch to be available. I'll put it this way. I put waiver claims in for Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Bidet. I put a dollar bid on both of them just in case. Just in case. So last question, JRich. Would you take any of the 2026 first-round wide receivers over Travis Hunter right now? I'm going to give you the three names that are most commonly mocked inside of round one right now. You've got Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State, Carnell Tate out of Ohio State, and Mekhi Lemon out of USC. Would you take any three of if they're first-round picks, would you take any of those over Travis Hunter straight up?
I think the only one I would for sure is Jordan Tyson, and I think Lemon is a very, very close second. Tate is the one I do have some reservations over, mostly because of the way that he plays. He, in my opinion, will be more of a T. Higgins than a Jamar Chase. I don't think he's going to command a massive target share. But again, it will depend on where he goes. I think Tyson is much more poised for a massive role. I think Lemon could also be a huge threat for any team. Plus, I also expect him to get drafted a little bit higher. But yeah, I think if you're looking more towards the wide receiver 3 and beyond in the class, even if they are a first rounder, you could be making a good bet going for Hunter over those players. But I think Lemon and Tyson, the way they're playing right now, the way they're viewed in the NFL, and the way they are projected in terms of draft capital, are definitely worth going after ahead of a Travis Hunter right now.
All right. There it is. Yeah, we got Denzel Boston, Chris Bell in the class as well, Jeremy Bernard. This is it's a good receiver class. I think it's a very, very solid wide receiver class here.
And the Jags have a lot of picks. They have a ton
of
draft
the Jags
picks.
do?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well,
even though they don't have a first, they have a ton of draft picks. They have 3 third-round picks and their second-round pick.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about it tonight on the show. So there it is. Hit the music, man. Hit the music. Hit the music. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Make sure y'all come up tonight. DDFFB, JRich at the air horns. Mid-season mayhem. Let's get it. We are going to have some fun tonight. Pull up to the show. Make sure you trust the Trinity on DDFFB later today as well. And then after the show, like, you just want to hear about some of the 2026 prospects and my thoughts about what's going to happen in this class and the quarterbacks and their fits, check out the show on the YouTube channel or the podcast feed. Appreciate all the good people pulling up today. It was good having y'all in the building, and we hope to see y'all later on tonight. Y'all be easy. We'll see y'all later. We out. Peace.